Anyone have any questions? Just you can unmute and you can talk.
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Sir, could you please explain that overriding one, sir?
Overloading already not yet done, right? I will explain.
Uh,
Okay. Separate to concept. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning. I have doubt in the debugger, sir. So last time I explained debugger, but in a function call, if the debugger is placed in total program once, it is fine, or every function separately it should print, or how that will function, the debugger keyword.
Okay, regarding the logging. Okay, let me write on simple program in the console. So I have a function. I have a function f1. Okay, here there has multiple statements are there. Console.log of 1. Okay, console.log of 2. Okay, here if you write like f1, s1 to print it. But my question is like, I want to see the line by line execution here. I want to see the line by line execution here. So if I want to put like some debugger, okay, if you want to stop the execution, then you can put like a debugger keyword. Okay, up to here, okay, syntactically.
Yeah.
Okay, now if I click on this one, okay, now if I call this f1, okay, now the execution command stop here or not? Now you can ask your question.
Yeah, sir. So we are writing this in function f1, but in modules, in real-time modules, there are like hundreds of 10 functions in one file, if I think. So for debugging each function, separate debugger should be written, or if I want to write it for the whole page, where should I write this debugger, something like that?
Okay, see, this f1 calls one more f1, f2 function. Okay, f2 calls one more function f3. Like this, different functions are there, for example. Okay, now here no need to put like debugger in each and every place. Here itself, just you can open that particular file. Control P is the shortcut. Okay, file or function. Control P is the shortcut. Okay, in the source itself you can open. No need to put the debugger keyword every time. Just you can put like a breakpoints. Line number 4 is there. Just you can put like a breakpoint if you want to see, if you want to stop the debug, stop the execution here. Like this, you can put the breakpoints in your pages.
Then why are we separately using this debugger? Why aren't we using every time that breakpoints?
Okay, breakpoints means, for example, here is my code console. In this case, okay, in my code, I'm not able to put like a breakpoint, right? Syntactically, can I put like a breakpoint here? No, right? In this case, while executing my function in my console, I want to stop my execution. Then that time breakpoints will never work. Breakpoints when we can put means in the source tab we can put it in the source tab only. But now at this moment, this f1, okay, where it is executing? Where it is executing? In my console, right? Okay, if it is really inside my f2 function, then that time you can use the breakpoints. You can use in the source tab. If it is like executing, then that time directly you can use the breakpoints like this. First of all, you need to start your debugging, right? In this case, I'm telling.
Okay, so what I understood, if function f1, I'm putting debugger, like typing the debugger. But when it is calling internally f2 function, then I can go to the breakpoints.
Go with the breakpoints. Then you can go with the breakpoints.
But there is no way to apply for like 7 or 8 functions at a time in the same page. Is there any way, sir?
Same page.
They're not calling internally.
Okay, yes, you can put it like this. Okay, say this. There has, okay, within the same. If it is like this, okay, there has one more, okay, function f2 also there, for example, f2 also there. Okay, here f1 you are calling, okay, internally not. If it is like this, then that can say everything is visible, right? Okay, here you can put the debugger, here you can put the debugger, like this, wherever you want. In the source tab, in that particular file, okay, what statements, which statements are like loading, okay, you can put the breakpoint wherever you want.
Okay, but the 2 or 3 times I should be writing if I want f1 and f2, it should be repeated if I need it.
Second?
The debugger here, right now you put it 2 times, no, sir? So that is mandatory if needed.
Yeah, if you want to stop your execution, if the breakpoint sometimes it's not execute from the console, then that time you can put the debugger. Once you're in the debugging mode, okay, you can put like a breakpoints wherever you want to stop the execution.
So the scope of debugger is just for the function itself. The scope of debugger, it's a block scope. Is that, sir?
No, not like that. Not like that. Okay, here in your code, wherever you want, you can put it. Okay, for example, okay, here if you put it, here if you put it. Now if I click on this one, see my debugger, stop here or not execution.
Okay.
It's a keyword. It's a keyword in your JS code. Wherever you want, you can put it. Wherever you want, you can put it. Now in the console, these many lines of code I written, including debugger. Debugger also one statement only, right? One predefined keyword this is. So my execution stop here. Okay, and then my F1 function loaded, and then my F2 function loaded, and then my F1 function called. Say this. Okay, F1 function loaded, F2 function loaded, and then F1 function called. Once you call F1 function, my F1 body will execute. So my control comes to line number 3.
Yeah.
Okay, like this. Now, if you put like a debugger here, like this, no need to put the debugger here and here. Now say this. Now here also debugger is not required. Here also debugger is not required. No need to put multiple times. Now my execution stopped here. Why? Because debugger is there. Now one by one, my F1 loaded, F2 loaded. My F1 now it is calling. Whenever you call the F1, I want to stop my execution in my F1 function body. So can I put the breakpoint here? Now my comment stop at line number 4. Say this.
Okay. So when we are putting all together, we can stop the execution for a particular function using the breakpoint. That's it.
Breakpoints, you can use it. Now F2 function you are calling. I want to stop my execution at line number 12. Okay. Now while calling, it comes to line number 12. It stop the execution there or not.
Okay, sir. And one more thing about the prototyping. That's about the prototype keyword. It inherits the variables, and that is not for class keyword class functions, but in general, just the functional components. The prototype used. What is the limitation of that? So that keyword, that prototype, I didn't get it completely.
Okay, I'll tell. Any other questions? Anyone? How many people?
Okay, so thanks.
How many people?
Yes, sir. So over here, like, sir, yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So in the previous examples, so we can, so like once you close the debugger, then we can't access the function elements in the console.
Yeah, once you come here, okay, my debugger, okay, line number 1, my execution stopped here. Now, come to this one, F1. Now, say this, my F1 called, right? Now you are in which function?
F1 function.
F1 function. If you are in F1 function, now my console also pointing to that particular function scope, you can access it.
Yes, sir.
Agreed with me?
So like once we come out of the debugger, then in the console we can't access it, right?
Yeah, now see this.
Okay.
Now it is done. F1 completed. Now if you come here,
yes.
so like yeah, now see this.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Yes.
Why means my
out of scope.
Where it is now, where it is stopped 15. Okay, it is not pointing. It is not inside F1, right? Now my console is not pointing to F1 scope. So my A, I'm not able to access it. Now if you come here, now you are in which function? F2 function. So F2 function, okay, whatever the variables are there, I can access now. Why? Why means my console is pointing to function scope.
Pointing to F2.
Once my execution is completed in my F2 function also, okay, F2 function, all statements got executed. Okay, now if you try to access the same A, it is not working.
Okay.
Got the point?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, simple. Wherever my debugger, that means wherever my execution is like stopped, okay, that particular scope, that particular statement scope, okay, which scope you can find it. It may be F1 function, it may be F2 function, some other, whatever it is. My console also pointing to the same scope, wherever my debugger point is there. That means wherever my execution stopped, that particular scope is, console is pointing to the same scope.
Okay.
Got my point?
So like, yes, sir. So you can say it as a block level
Okay.
scope, right? So
See, it's like a block level inline, leave it. Okay, now if you come here, inside my F1, what I can access? I can access this one like this, right? Whatever I can access inside my F1, those things I can access in my console. That's it. Okay, function,
okay, sir. Yeah.
block level scope. Okay, it's like let is a block level scope where is like a functional scope. Leave it for now. This particular where inside my F1 I can access it or not.
Yes.
Okay, now my console also pointing to my F1 scope so that I can access my A also inside console.
Okay, sir. Yeah, makes sense. Got it.
Got my point?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Next.
సార్ చాట్ బాక్స్ వస్తే చూస్తారా?
Second.
కోడ్ ఒకటి చాట్ బాక్స్ లో పెట్టినా ఒకసారి చూస్తారా?
Yeah.
లాస్ట్ టైం మెయిల్ అడిగా.
Let me paste in short. Okay. Now you created like one math class. You have one variable A1. You have sum like this. Okay. You created an object for this. My obj.sum equals to this one. Yeah, perfect. It's like a name. You're right. Okay, it's like a name. Now you added A2 is equals to 20 inside this object. So my obj.sum is like, okay, expected value only 32. It's okay, perfect. Now, for example, if I create one more obj, okay, obj2, one more object if I create, then that time my obj2 dot sum is what? Obj2 dot sum is what?
32.
Okay, no. ob2, right? ob2 dot sum is what? Nan. Why means you added this particular A2 variable at object level, not at class level, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the reason. For every object, you need to add this A2 equals to 20. But my question is, instead of adding that particular value at object level, is there any other way is there to make that particular N2 value or A2 value available to at class level? Is there any way is there? By using what? By using prototyping. So
Prototype method.
A2 equals to 20. Now you can create an object for my math class. O dot sum is what? 32. You can create one more object for my math class. O1 dot sum is what? 32 or not? Got my point? You
Yes, sir.
added the member at a class level now. It is not at object level. Hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Why we go for prototyping? Why we go for prototyping? Anyone explain? Why we go for
To inherit.
Yeah, to inherit the members into the class or not? Okay, so far how many members are there in this class? So far how many members are there? Only one member is there. For example, I want one more member N2 also. Okay, I needed one more member from outside. So how we can get it? How we can make it available one more member to my class arithmetic? How we can? Arithmetic dot. It is which type of class? First tell me. It is like which type of class? It is like which type of
Function
class?
class.
If it is a functional class, we
Functional.
their prototype or not to inherit the member into class. Okay, prototyping is works for both classes, right?
Yes.
Functional classes, it is going to work. Next one is what? Class keyword classes or not? Class keyword classes, we can handle the inheritance how many ways? Two ways. One is like by using prototype. Another one is what? By using extends keyword or not? Extends keyword or not? Okay, now, okay, just you can talk for 15 minutes now onwards. Okay, after that we can unmute. Just respond. Okay, prototype dot N2 equals to 30. Okay, now how many members are there overall? You can respond. Many people also respond.
Two members.
Total 3 members. Constructor leave it. Okay, 2 members. One is like my own member. Another one is like what? Inherited member or not. You got my point? Okay. Same like that. My React people created one functional class. What is that class? What is that class? Come on. What is my class name? React people created one functional class.
Dot component.
Component is the class. It is inside the React, that the reason React dot component. Okay, React component is not a class. Component only the class. Function component. Okay, now it contains how many members? Come on, it contains how many members? This dot props equals to something. This dot props equals to something. Next, this dot refs equals
Total
to
of
something.
7.
Next, this dot updater. Updater equals to something. The next one is what? This dot context, right? Yes or no? Total, how many members are there at this moment? How many members are there in my component class? 4 members. 4 members. Plus constructor, leave it. Okay, including constructor 5, but 4 members. So if I write like this, what it means? If I write like this, what it means? Come on. In my component class, how many members are there? How many members are there? 4 own members. 1 inherited member is React component or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. If I write like this, come on. How many members are there? How many members are there? How many members are there? 6 members. Is React component is like a variable string. It holds the string data. Set state is a function inherited or not? Yes, sir. There has one more also. Okay. Total, how many members are there in my component class? In my component class, own members 4. Okay. Inherited members how many? Inherited members how many? Inherited members how many? 4 inherited members also there or not there? Okay, one is like is React component is like 1 inherited member. Set state is a function, 1 more inherited member. Force update is a function, 1 more inherited member. Constructor is a function, 1 more inherited member. It is like a default inherited member or not? Okay, now if I write like my class hello, which is extends from okay component. Now tell me, my hello contains how many members now? My hello contains how many members now? Total. My hello contains how many members now? My own members plus, come on, my own members plus my prototype. This one also include inherited members. Total 7 or not? Okay. Now, if you want to access any one of this one, you can create an object for hello. Okay. Are you able to access all the members? See that? Are you able to access all the members or not? O dot. Say O dot. All the members I can access. Context, props, refs, update, force update is React component set state. All the members I can access it or not? Agreed? Able to understand that code only, right? Yesterday we written. Yes or no? Okay. Okay then. Anyone have any other questions? Anyone have any other questions? Anyone have any other questions? Any other questions? Anyone?
Sir, I have a question. So in the 2 classes before, you said that if we are
Function.
using arrow function, when we are printing this, okay, it was taking the previous one, I mean the next level scope. But in the normal function, if I write like that, sir, it is taking the parent like window scope only.
Sir, said 1 second. Sir said to wait for a second.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, can you repeat your question again, please?
Okay. We have a scenario like in a function, we are returning the arrow function, sir. Okay.
In a function, this is, are you able to see my screen? This is my
Yeah,
function.
yeah. So there we are returning the arrow function.
Arrow function. Okay. Mhm.
Okay. Inside this, we are printing the this inside arrow
Okay.
function. This one we have already defined, sir, previous classes. Okay. There also we are, I mean, in the normal function also we are defining the this.
This. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So here when we set the value to this, okay. So the arrow function also will take the normal function, this only,
Scope.
sir. Yeah,
Yes.
scope, correct.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but if I consider in the normal function, suppose in the return statement, if I
Mhm.
give the normal function as a return, then
Mhm.
it is considering the window scope only, sir. Why it is like that?
Yeah. Why means by default, okay, my arrow functions having which scope? By default, my arrow functions having which scope? It is a lexical scope.
Yeah,
Lexical scope is nothing but what you know. Okay, it is always owns the next level scope by default. Okay, here, who is the next level function? Which one is the next level function? Tell me. F1. Whatever my F1 scope is there, by default having this particular one. There is no change. Got my point? But if it is like a normal function, if it is like a normal function, okay, any function you can take it. By default, my this is pointing to what? If it is like a normal function, window, right?
yeah,
Got my point?
okay,
Agreed with me?
yeah, okay, sir.
Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
sir. Sagar here.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is, as you told that the lexical scope means scope inside that particular function. Is it right?
Lexical scope is nothing but is a kind of behavior. It owns the next level members. Okay, it is like taking like, okay, next level member, next level scope, it is own it. That like that kind of behavior we can say like a lexical scope. Okay, now your question is what? Can you speak a little bit loud?
Okay, sir. So my question is to means I don't understand what is lexical. According to what I can understand, the lexical means the whole inside the function, total inside the function.
Lexical scope is nothing but, okay, simply I can say on example I can give you F1. Okay, here where a equals to 10. Okay, return one more function. Okay, where b equals to 20. Okay, here console.log of a, console.log of b. Okay, now tell me, inside this particular function is there, right? This leave it. Okay, this particular function access a, right? Access b,
Right.
right? Yes or no?
Right.
Okay, so my a is coming from where?
Is coming from
Outside,
function F1.
outer function, right? So my
Outer function.
outer function variable by default available to my inner function or not? How it is
Yes.
available means default, that is like a through lexical scope only that particular values are available to my inner function.
Okay. Okay.
Got my point? That kind of behavior by default have my arrow function. So by default it owns my next level scope. By default it is own it.
Right. Right.
Got my point?
Yes. Got it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Next.
Sir, so in the previous example, like both the functions are pointing to the same scope, right? So this and this are pointing to window only.
You're talking about function F1. Shira.
Yeah, and one is a normal function, yes, and
Now both
the
are pointing
other
to
one is arrow function,
window only.
window,
Why? My F1 is window, so this is also window. If I
window.
change the scope,
Yes, sir.
okay, by using call method or something, or bind method or whatever it is, if I change the scope, this is pointing to my own object. Now this is also pointing to what? My own object only.
Oh no. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next. What's this one? Class C. What's your question? This?
అంటే ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ సచిన్ ధోని కోహ్లీకి డిఫరెంట్ కలర్స్ రావాలి, బట్ ఆ అవుట్పుట్ లో అన్ని రెడ్ వస్తున్నాయి.
Then that time you have to give like my CLR equals to red, like this you can give it. Okay, CLR equals to blue. Okay, here my CLR equals to green, like this you can give it. Now how many props are going? Now this class name is like hard coded, no, right? Okay, now here obj dot CLR. Yes or no?
Yes sir.
Okay, you can say like my class name is like what? Red. Okay, now you can write red class name. Okay, the next class name is what? Blue. You can write blue class name. The next class name is like what? Green. You can write green class name. Got my point? Now see, for my first player, name is like what? Sachin. Location is like Mumbai. My class name is what? Class name is what? obj.clr. What is my class name?
Red.
Red. So for my red class name, now dot red is a class name, right? Which CSS property applied? Color red. For my second player, my class name is what? obj.clr. Blue. Okay. For my blue class name, you can write like CLR blue, like that you can. Got my point?
Yes, ఇక్కడ CLR equal red అది మనం ఇంకేదైనా తీసుకోవచ్చు కదా.
Yeah, anything you
names,
can put it. R you can take it, B you can take it, G you can take it. Okay. Now obj.clr is what? R. So class name is what now? R. So can I write one class for R? Okay. If it is like class name R, which color is that? Which CSS property applied? Color red. Got my point? Blue. Okay, green. Like this you can add it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next. Any other questions? Anyone have any other questions? No? Okay then. Let me mute all. Okay, perfect. Now, yesterday, where we stopped, our requirement is like, just I want to convert, just I want to write an equivalent class component, okay, for my hollow functional component or not. So if you want to create a class component, syntax is like same like ES6 class keyword class. So how we can write it a class? My class is like hollow. Okay, now it is a class, that's it. If you want to make it like, if you want to make it like, if you want to work, if you want to use like a component, this one by default is not acting like a component. When it can act like a component, whenever it gets some extra features, component related features, if I get it, then my hollow can acting like what? Component or not. From where I can get the features? How one class can get the features from outside? How one class can get the features from outside? Through inheritance. So you can inherit extends. From which class? Where my features, everything which is related to my component, where my features? Already my React people written one class, okay, that contains all your, okay, all your functions and variables and everything which is related to, okay, my class component or not. Okay, so I want to get that particular class here. So how we can get it? How we can get it? That class is inside which library? React library. So first React library loaded or not, check it. Once it is loaded in my React library, okay, which class is there? Which class is there? Component is the class. See, the class name is component only. It is coming from React. Class name is component. Got my point? Now in my component class, how many members are there? Just now discussed. 7 members are there. Those 7 members inherited into where? Hollow. So my hollow gets some extra features from outside or not? Now onwards, my hollow can act like what? Can act like what? Can act like a component or not? If you use like a component, yes, it can act like a component. It can work like a component. Got my point? Yes or no? If this one is not there, then that time if you use also, this is not work like a component. Why? Because it is not able to, okay, it is not having that features. Okay, so get that features first. Okay, then. Okay, all are agree with me? Okay, then. I have one simple question. What's my answer? What's my answer? What is my answer? F1. What is my answer? What is my answer? What is my answer? F1 now. How we can say like F1? See, elaborate. Already we discussed this one. Exact error message I want. Line number 10 is there, right? You want me to use OBJ only or any name you can use it? Only OBJ, any name, right? Instance. Can I use any name? Yes, you can use any name, no problem at all. Instantiation is nothing but, it's a technical word. Terminology wise, object creation. Instantiation means. Okay, now see, you create an object for hello. You created an object for hello. Okay, which is extends from, okay, react.component only. For now, not there, for example. For now, not there. Now tell me, at the time of creating an object, what happened? In my object, how many members are there? How many members are there? Come on, how many members are there? Only one member. Only one member. What is that member? This is the. So instance.f1 is what? A function. So I can call it. So I called. So what's my answer? My answer is what? F1. F1. Instance.render. In the object, render is there or not there? In the object, render is there or not there? Come on. Render is not there. If render is not there, this particular value is what? This particular value is what? Undefined. Okay. After that, what you are doing? You're calling. See, if you call like this, the prefix should be what? A function, right? Now tell me, undefined is a function, huh? Undefined is a function, huh? No, then what is the error? My instance dot render is not a function or not. This is the exact error message, right? Yes or no? Come on. Only 2 or 3 members answered. That's what I am telling. Just any statement is there, split it first. Split it. Instance is nothing but an object with how many properties? Instance.render. Instance.render means in that object render is there or not there. Okay, not there, undefined. Undefined, you are calling. Okay, don't stop here. The total execution statement, total statement has to execute. Final output I want. Okay, instance.render, it is an undefined. Undefined, I am calling. Okay, I can call a function. I am not able to call undefined. So instance.render is an undefined. It is not a function. So that the error message is what? Instance.render is not a function or not. Got my point? Okay, instance.render is not a function, is not a method. See, terminology wise, okay, function and method both are like same function, okay, syntactical and everything. But we are using like if we create an method with an object, then the time if we create if you call like this, it is like a method terminology wise. Okay, otherwise it's like a function, but both are like same. Okay, if you place inside this class, then you can say like a methods. Got my point? Okay. The question is instance.render is not a method. He has to give why he give like function. Okay, method and function terminology like same only. Don't think more about that one. Got my point? Okay then. Now to fix this issue. Okay, my output should be F2, for example. Okay, my output should be F2. Then the time, can I fix like this? Okay, inside this one, simple fix. If you are able to change this code, okay, if you have the permissions, can I write like this simply? Work or not work? Can I write like this simply? Go on. Now, in my object, my render also there or not there? In my object, my render also there or not there? Okay? Okay then. Up to you understand? Okay, the same theory I want to use in our class component. Understand or not? Okay, perfect. Now come here. So, I created a component. Why we go for components in React? Tell me. Why we go for components in React? To prepare some content, right? Okay, the main theme is like what? Okay, if you want some content in React, you have to prepare the component. That component, how many times you want to reuse, you can reuse it one time also. If you want to use, you have to prepare the component or not with that content. Now tell me, what is the content? The content is hello world. Do you want me to keep the content directly like this? Is it the recommended way? First of all, is it the right syntax? No, right? So in my class, I want to prepare some content. That is my functionality. In my class, if you want to handle some functionality, you can write some methods, right? Can I write like F1? Yes or no? Can I write some F1? Return your content. Syntactically, it is 100% valid or not valid? Yes or no? Got my point? So my F1 is it prepares some content. That content is not kept with my F1. It returns back or not. So can anyone tell me how I can get the content now? How I can get this content? Come on. My content inside my F1. My F1 is inside my hello. It is a class member or not? Okay. How we can call class members? By create an object or not? So where obj equals to new hello, my obj.f1, it gives me my content or not? Agreed with me? All are okay? Perfect. Now my question is very simple. In your application, in your React application, like this, how many components you may create? In your application? I'm talking about application level, infinite, any number of components, right? Based on your requirement. If you create 100 components, if you want to access the members of that particular component, how many objects you need to create? All are like class components only. Think like that. All are like class components only. How many objects you need to create? How many objects? 100 different components are there. 100 different components means 100 objects you need to create, right? Yes or no? By using new operator, if you create an object, it is allocate some space, right? How many spaces it is going to allocate? In your application level, how many spaces it is going to allocate? For 100 classes, 100 objects created, 100 different spaces it is going to allocate or not? If you allocate the space for only for object creation, Okay, where is the space to run my application? It is going to decrease or not to run my application? Yes or no? Whole space you utilize to create an objects. To run my application, some space is required, right? Okay, then that time there has a performance issue, you may get it or not. Yes or no? Got my point? That's the reason my React people told like, hey, if I give chance to you to create an object, you not manage, okay, this memory management and everything not properly. I'm not sure about you. You are managing or not. Okay, that's the reason I want to do one thing for you. You don't create an object from your end. Okay, let me create an object from my end. Let me create an object from my end. Now, who create an object now? Who create an object for my hello? My React people create an object. So if my React people create an object, the memory management and everything, effectively they can do that. Got my point? If my React people create an object, okay, object is with whom now? With you or my React people? Come on. Object is with whom? Who create an object now? Come on. Who create an object? React people. So my object is with the React people. So my object is inside where? Okay, inside my, okay, one of the React library. Inside that one only they created, right? So my object is with my React people. If my object is with my React people, okay, my object created by React people, okay, how my React people come to know about your method? That is my question. First question. Got my point? If my object is created by React people like this, okay, how they come to know about your method F1? Your method F1. Okay, if they know about your method, then only, right, he is going to call it. Now tell me, this particular React related code only for you they written, or in this world who want to use like React, this is common for all? Come on. Common for all, right? Common for all, right? Okay, if it is like common for all, okay, you need to follow their guidelines, or they need to follow your guidelines? Come on. You need to follow their guidelines or not? Okay, now if you write like F1, okay, my React people call F1 method, but my React people not for you, right? Specific to you, right? Okay, you written like F1, some other person written like F2 function to prepare the content. Then the time my React people has to call which function? Which function has to call? F2 function. F2 function. Like this, my React people has to follow your guidelines, no, right? Then that time my React people said like, hey, you people should have to follow my guidelines, right? I want to do one thing. What is that one? You know, any object created for your component, simply I am calling the render method. Simply I am going to call the render method. Now you people should follow one thing. What is that one? You know, now onwards I am calling the render method. That's the reason, can you use the render method only to prepare the content? Now onwards, can you follow all you people? That one. My React people already called which method? Already they written the code. Which method? To prepare to get the content. Which method they are going to call? Render method. If they call render method, the method should be inside the class or not? Yes or no? Come on. Okay, that's the reason you people who want to create a class component, okay, my React people already call one of the method called as a render. That's the reason you should have to define the render method, okay, to prepare the content or not. For example, you not defined. Now you guess a exact error message. Tell me. Now you guess an exact error message. Come on. Who create an object? Come on. Who create an object? For this particular one, who create an object? For this particular class component, who create an object? You are React people. Come on. Who create an object? React people. How they create? Okay, simply. Okay, as per your knowledge, what you know, just you can write like that. New hello. Okay, they call which method? They call which method? They already written. Call which method? Call which method to get the content? Okay, render method. Now tell me, this render method there or not there? Okay, this render method there or not there? Render method is not there. If the render method is not there, okay, what is my output? Instance is there, only F1 in the object. Instance.render, undefined. Undefined, am I able to call? If you call also, it gives me an error like what? Instance.render is not a function or not. Instance.render is not a function. Can you come here? Can we run this? Can we run this? Now it gives me an error. Can I inspect it? Can I go to my console? Can I read the message? Exact message. See this? See this? Can I refresh the page? Can I refresh the page? Instance.render is not a function. What it means? He is calling the render method by using an object, but render method is not there. That is like undefined. That's the reason it gives me error like what? Instance.render is not a function or not. Agreed? Come on, come on. That's the reason my React people already written the code. They call a render method to get the content. Okay, that code, you are the person. You are not the person to change it. So you need to follow their guidelines. Their guidelines are what? If you create a class component, define a render method to prepare your content. Define a render method to prepare your content. Why? Because I am calling the render method. I written the code. I am calling the render method on your object. So make sure render method should be there inside your component to prepare the content. Got my point? Yes or no? Now say this. That's done. Working. My first program done or not? Okay, either it is a class component or either it is a functional component. The way of using the component is like same or not. The element with capital letter starts with capital letter. The element starts with capital letter. Come on. Can I write one simple flow of execution? Now, can anyone tell? My execution starts from where? My execution starts from where? Come on, my execution starts from where? Okay, inside my container, I need to prepare the content or not? Inside the container, I need to render the content or not? So my execution is going to start from here. My execution is going to start from here. Okay. Okay, first, it taken the container reference. Inside the container, okay, it is trying to render this particular what? Element with capital letter. Element with capital letter is nothing but what my React is going to think. What my React is going to think. If it is like an element with the capital letter, from here my execution is going to start. My React think like it's a component. Think like a component. Okay. Now the component possibilities tell me. Maybe, come on, maybe functional. Come on, my component may be functional, maybe class or not. Maybe functional, maybe class or not. Yes or no? Okay, if it is a functional, what my React is going to do? Maybe functional. Okay, maybe class component. If it is a functional class, functional component, what my React is going to do? Tell me. If it is a function, what my React is going to do? Get the content. If it is a function, how we can get the content? If it is a function, how we can get this content? If it is a function, how we can get the content? How we can get the return value? By calling, right? Okay. If it is like a functional component, simply it is going to call that function or not. Yes or no? Once he call that function, he get what? Once he call that function, he get the content or not? Yes, sir. He get the content or not? Now, if it is like a class component, what it is going to do? What it is going to do? It create an object or not? It create an object or not? Instance equals to new hello like this. It create a object for that particular one. Okay. By using that object, which method is going to call? By using that object, which method is going to call? Render method or not? Once you call the render method, it gives me what? A content or not? Once you have the content, that content is going to render where? Once you have the content, that content is going to render where? Inside this container or not? Inside this container or not? Agreed? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, first, okay, if it is like an element with capital letter, my React recognizes this one like a component. After that, it is going to check. Okay, it is like a functional component or it is like a class component. If it is a functional component, call that function, get the content. If it is a class component, create an object and call which method to get the content? Render method. Okay, once you have the content, okay, render the content inside the container. That's it. Okay, one by one, tell me. If this component is not there, what is the error? If the component is not there, hello is not there, what is the error? Either it is a functional component or a class component is not a matter. It gives me hello is not defined. Is the error or not? Hello is not defined. Is the error or not? Hello is not defined. Okay. Now, if it is a defined, if it is a functional component, he is going to call it. If you not written any content, then the time, if you not written anything, then the time empty space, empty blank space, it is going to show. Okay, undefined. Okay, it is not throwing error, undefined. Okay, now if it is like a class component, it create an object. If it is not having the render method, you know the error. What is that error? What is that error? Instance.render is not a function. If the render method is there, content you not returned, that is the undefined again or not. So you should have to return the content inside the functional component, inside the render method, inside the class or not. Yes or no? Okay, how many components you want to create, that many you can create, but each and every component should contains the render method or not, if it is a class component. You agree with me? Now you got some idea, right? How you can create the class component. Okay, it's a matter of 3 lines of code only, but internally, okay, this much flow is there. It's a matter of 3 lines of code only. Okay, if you don't know how to create the class, then how you can create? If you don't know what is inheritance, how you can create? Okay, how you can understand at least? If you don't know what is a functional class, what is a class keyword class, my React is a functional class, how we can? Okay, if you don't know how he can inherit the members into this functional class, prototyping, if you don't know, then the time are you able to understand the internal flow? Yeah, you can write it like 3 lines of code only, but internally what happened? Analyze it. Okay, people may not use this particular class component, but okay, see, so many things you learned, right? Yes or no? Got my point? Okay, that's the reason. Analyze the things. You may use, may not use, that's not an issue. Okay, it's a like kind of 3 lines of code. What is this? What is class? What is hello? What is extends? What it is coming from here to here? If the render method is not there, what happened? Okay, these all things. See, error messages are very, very important. Error, focusing on error messages. Read that error messages. Check why this error came and then fix it. Multiple times read that error message. Then you only come to know about the solution of that particular error. Don't be afraid of by seeing that particular error message. Most of the times we are doing that one only. By seeing that red color message, okay, we are not ready to read it at least. Read that error message, not only one time, multiple times you can read it. Then by reading that one only, you can get some solution multiple times if you read. Got my point? That's the reason while running or while executing any program, okay, open the developer console window. Always open the developer console window, console window. In the developer console window, console tab. Okay, refresh the page. Check, is there any errors? Is there any errors or there or not there? Don't close this one. Okay, while writing any program, don't close it. Got my point? Okay. Okay then. Now our assignment is like, okay, so far how many programs are there in my functional components? How many? 4 or 5 programs are there, right? Can you try to convert these functional components into class components? Can you try from your end at least? How many you can complete? Can you complete your functional components into class components? Just try. If you're stuck with something, leave it, go with the next one. Okay, at least 50% or 60% you can complete. At least 60 to 70% you can complete. Some other new things are there. Okay, I will explain. But the 60-70%, it's like similar to this program only. Okay, for everywhere, if you observe, you need to create a component only, right? Here it is there. You need to create how many components? 2 components. You know, right, how to create a component at least. Yes or no? You know, right, how to create a class component. Got my point? If anyone give a task to you, okay, if it is not give a proper output or not, that is the second last. Okay, but at least you need to start that execution. Okay, start writing the program and execute it. How much part you can complete? At least if the process and everything is like same, 50%, 60%, then that time, okay, they may select to you. If you sit idle, there is no use. Got my point? How much part you can complete? Okay, you can complete it. You may get a output or not. You are not getting. That is not an issue. That is like lost. You may get output. It's okay, fine. Okay, at least you complete like 60%, 70% like that. Okay, that is good only, right? That is also considered. Okay, start writing the code. Output is like secondary. Don't think about the output. First, start writing. Initiate first. Got my point? Okay. Okay then. React is not defined means maybe React is not loaded. Okay, React is not defined. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, you see this message, React is not defined. Okay, how we can debug? Okay, how we can analyze this one? Where you may get the, okay, because of this reason you may get this error. What is the reason behind that? Okay, tell me the possible cases. Tell me at least this error you saw in your console, for example, you saw. Okay, now tell me, to fix this particular error, okay, what steps you need to take care? Can anyone? First, how we can check it? Yeah, first thing is, one thing you have to check. React is not defined means React is not there. Okay, in my page, this is the page is running, right? Okay, maybe. Now check, very simple. Go to the source. Okay, React is loaded or not loaded. First check it. React is loaded. Now go to console. Okay, how to use React? Check it. See, React. See the difference. Already loaded. I need to use React. Okay. R with capital or small? R with capital or small? With capital. Okay, but you written like what? R is like small, right? If R is like small, then the thing you can get this error only or not. Got my point? So go to your code, wherever the R is like small, just change like, okay, capital. Change like capital. JavaScript is like a case sensitive. I already told to you. Don't type in your editor. Okay. Just copy paste from here. React DOM. See this helper, you can get it. See, now you can copy this React DOM and paste wherever you want. Got my point? Okay. All are okay? Okay, oops concepts. Okay, I already told to you, right? Just write some notes. Okay, few members, 3 or 4 members only written. Okay, today also the same assignment, complete that one. Why? Because oops concepts are like very, very important. You can mention one more point in your resume, like, okay, having good knowledge on oops concepts. That much important. Got my point? Okay, your assignment is what? Complete or convert all your functional components into class components. How much you can? The next one is like complete the oops concepts again. Okay. Who not already completed, just complete the oops concepts. Okay. Okay, then thank you guys. Thanks for joining. We'll see remaining things in tomorrow's class. Bye.